Hey everyone, welcome back to Ontario Gardening. Today we're just going to talk quickly about some of my plans for this summer's garden, and I'm going to show you some of the varieties that I have chosen to grow in the garden. We're going to talk about a herb ladder and this cool dollar store planter that we did for $5 and what we're going to be growing in there. So if you've seen my garden tour videos from last year, you know that I have a herb ladder, which is basically like a wood ladder, and each step of the ladder has a planter box on it, and I do herbs in there. So this year we're gonna do some dill, some thyme, some parsley, and then I am all about the different kinds of basils this year. I'm going a little bit basil crazy. We've got some garlic chives, which I have never been able to germinate ever. I have tried them in the click and grow inside. I have tried them relentlessly outside. If you have a trick in order to get these, like I can't even get them to germinate. So if you have a trick, please leave that in the comments below, but I am going to try to get that to work this year. So we have some cinnamon basil, blue spice basil, lime basil, lemon basil, and then your basic Genovese basil, which is like your regular like Italian type basil. The next thing I'm planting in this year is what I am calling the leafy greens tower. So basically these are from the dollar store, the Dollar Tree. They're $1.25 each. You put your soil in here. They have like these little locking systems here, and you can stack them on top of each other. So you can stack them as high as you want. You could go 2 high, 3, like as many as you want. I did 5, and I am going to grow things like lettuces and spinach, kale, things like that throughout here. Let me see if I can find a picture essentially to show you what it would look like. So essentially this is what you can do here. This is from one of my gardening groups, and he did it 4 high. So yeah, you can come out and like chop things as you want, like to put on sandwiches or small little like individual salads, or to make little power bowls, protein bowls. So that's pretty cool, and I'm super excited to try these. So like I said, for $1.25 per layer, if you have them at your local dollar store, it's something cool to try. You could do strawberries in there, little microgreens. The possibilities are endless. So I'm really excited to do that. So the varieties that I'm going to do in there, let me just quickly show you. I'm going to try some leaf lettuces so that I can cut up like single stalks at a time. So the red butter leaf lettuce. I am going to try and do 1 bolt of romaine lettuce in there and see how that works. These are like packaged because I got them from seed trades. So I don't have like actual seed packets, but I'm going to try some bok choy in there. I've got a bunch of different spinaches, space spinach, Veroflay red kitten spinach. I've got some of the dwarf blue curled kale. I've got, again, some more spinach, keystone resistant spinach, and then some dinosaur kale that I'm going to try from M.I. Gardner. So yeah, that'll be fun to try these leafy greens in here. I'm super excited for that. Now I also have 3 of those felt grow bags. Again, if you watch my videos from last year, I did a tutorial on chitting potatoes and growing your own eyes from your potatoes so you don't have to buy potato seed starts. Those grow bags there, I have 3 of them, so I'm going to try okra in one of them, eggplant in another one. I've got this variety here, the Black Beauty eggplant. The okra is the Clemson spineless. And then I've got some Utah celery that somebody sent me that I'm going to try in one of those bags as well. So I'll have 3 grow bags just kind of off to the side. And these are my experimental things. So every year I like to experiment with different stuff. Last year I tried cucamelon for the first time. I tried like the dragon's tongue beans and some purple beans. And I just don't want to waste a lot of good space in the garden. I kind of want to do those experimental things off to the side in case they either A, don't work, or we don't like them, then I'm not wasting square footage in my actual garden for things that I know we're going to eat. So that's why those grow bags and things like these containers and stuff are perfect for that kind of stuff, to just do them off to the side without wasting that valuable space, because I don't have a huge garden. So then some other things I'm going to grow, some strawberries. I'm not actually going to grow strawberries from seeds. That's the one thing, the one plant that I like to buy pre-done from a local nursery. We have a really good nursery that actually specializes in strawberries out here. So I like to buy from those, and I'm going to do Last year I did them in hanging baskets on the fence, and the problem was I put them in behind the garden on the fence when there was nothing growing in the garden, and then once things started growing in my garden, I was unable to actually get to the fence and to those baskets to harvest my strawberries. So this year I've got these cool little like stakes that go in the ground that hold plants and hold hanging baskets, so I'm gonna do them in there this year at the ends of my beds and see how that turns out, because we always do like to have a couple of fresh strawberries. I'm going to try the Black Beauty. I've heard from so many people that this Black Beauty zucchini is amazing, so I'm going to try that this year. I've got some yellow summer squash, so some yellow zucchini. I'm going to try that this year. For cucumbers, I am going to try this silver slicer, because again, I've heard amazing things about those. And then for fun, I'm going to try this Jelly Melly cucumber. I got this on M.I. Gardener on sale for like 50 cents. It looks really cool. I just thought that I would try that. I'm going to do my carrots. These will be direct sowed in April, and I'm going to try the Nantes Corliss this year. I am going to do radishes in direct sow in late April, and then I am going to do my green onions. So this year I'm going to try the Tokyo Long White. I did do the French breakfast, radish last year, and it was good, but I do want to try this again. And then I do the Lewis green beans, and then this year I'm going to try, I've seen a lot of different other YouTube channels doing these Blue Lake bush beans. So I'm going to do a couple of rows of these and just see how they compare to our favorite beans, and you never know, maybe this year we'll have a different favorite bean. And then we get into our tomatoes and our peppers. So that's always a situation. So we're gonna try the Lesia pepper this year. These sweet YOLO Wonder peppers, I'm really excited for these. We're gonna try lemon drop. I'm gonna try those. The Shishito, we're gonna try these. I'm gonna just do my regular bell peppers. So we've got like just red bell peppers and California green bell peppers. And then I'm going to try the Nata Pino. So a Nata Pino, and I also have from Baker Creek here the Habanada. Now these two are basically, they're heatless. So the Nata Pino is a jalapeno with no heat. So you're basically getting the flavor and the texture, consistency of everything of a jalapeno, and same with the Habanada. So it's the same as a habanero pepper, but with no heat. And these are going to be awesome because the cowboy candy was a little bit spicy for our house this year that we tried and we canned. So this will be cool to try the cowboy candy with not as much heat for those who don't like the heat in the house. And then the tomatoes. I have room for 8 tomatoes this year. So of all the varieties that I bought and I've been sent, I had to pick out 8 varieties, which was a little tough, but I really just went based on different posts that I've seen online of people voting on their favorites and different YouTube videos. And I really did my research on some of what I thought was going to be the best tomatoes for our house. So that's for tomato sandwiches and in salads and stuff. And when we do our canning, I don't have the garden space to grow enough tomatoes to can for the entire season. So we actually go to a local farm and we get our tomatoes. So one day if I do have the space for that, that'll be a totally different story. But for now, these are mostly heirlooms that we can put on sandwiches and in wraps and that type of stuff. So I got the Mortgage Lifter, which is super exciting. If anybody's heard the story on this, it's called Mortgage Lifter because back in the early 1900s, this guy sold these Mortgage Lifter tomato plants for $1 a plant, which was kind of expensive back in that day. And he paid off his mortgage just selling tomato plants. So it was like a $6,000 mortgage, and he was able to do that by just selling these at his farmer's market. So that's really super cool. So we've got the Mortgage Lifter. I've heard amazing things about the Black Krim. This is like one of the highest rated tomatoes for flavor and being prolific. I've got the Cherokee Purple, which also is in similar line to the Black Krim. This one I chose just because it's pineapple. It's supposed to have a really nice flavor, and I really do enjoy like the colors of this. I think this will be really cool to see. I've got the Paul Robeson, which was also really highly recommended. The Dr. Witch's Yellow. Kellogg's Breakfast is always on everybody's list to try, so I'm really excited for this Kellogg's Breakfast. And then the Abe Lincoln tomato looks like just a pretty good slicer tomato, so I've heard good things, so that's what we're trying for these. Now the last thing that we're doing this year, which I haven't really done in the past, I am really gonna focus on doing some flowers this year, not only to, like, aesthetically so I can like just enjoy something pretty, but I'm also going to do things like grow borage and marigolds and put it in between my plants. I've never done this before, but we did have a little bit of pest pressure last year. So it's to my understanding that when you plant things like borage and marigolds, it attracts the pests and the bugs to the flowers to eat the flowers instead of eating your plants. So you kind of just like would plant the marigolds in between the rows of your stuff and like hope for the best. So I'm gonna try that this year. I mean, worst case scenario, it doesn't really work and we have some pretty flowers in the mixtured with vegetables. But yeah, we're gonna try that. So like I said, we've got the borage here I got from My Gardener and the marigolds. So those are gonna be like the pest deterrents. And then in terms of growing pretty stuff, I am going to try these, the Aster Cragos. I'm gonna do sunflowers. I think I'm gonna do mostly sunflowers at the front of my house. I'm gonna do snapdragons, because I love a good snapdragon. And then I'm gonna do a bunch of zinnias. So I've got a couple different zinnia varieties here. I'm really excited for these candy cane ones. So they're actually like striped like a candy cane. And then I've got these giant ones. So that's pretty much what I'm growing. It seems like a lot for such a little garden. It is actually quite a lot, but I'm really excited to kind of stuff the garden this year and get some. I'm really excited for the tomatoes. And that's for the summer garden. We are going to turn over come like mid-September and do a fall garden, so that'll be a separate video. I'm also going to highlight what I'm starting inside in March in my next video so that we can kind of get an idea of what to start here in this zone at this time, and yeah, go from there. So thanks for joining me along, and again, I really recommend if you can get to your dollar store and get one of these, trying this out. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.